All right, so today we're going to dive into, well, it's a pretty fascinating mashup. 90s culture, pinball, the whole deal. We're talking about the Last Action Hero Pinball machine from 1993.
Yeah, thinking about it, it's pretty ambitious. I mean, a meta-action movie as a pinball machine, right in the middle of what a lot of people consider like the golden age of pinball, you know?
And that's what we're going to try to figure out today. Why did this machine, of all machines, become such a, I don't know, like a legendary piece of pinball history?
Right.
And a collector's item, too. Which is kind of wild, because the movie itself, well, it wasn't exactly a blockbuster, was it? We're using that Retro Flippers deep dive from @OnlyJZS on YouTube, by the way. Really good stuff.
It makes you think, though, right? Like, how did Data East, the company that made this thing, how did they see themselves in the pinball world back then? Early 90s, super competitive.
Right. Huge competition. You had Williams and Bally, they were like the giants. So Data East, they were trying to find their own space, you know? And one of their big moves in the 90s was grabbing licenses for like all these popular movies. It was a strategy, Yeah. And Jurassic Park, Star Wars, even RoboCop, all as pinball machines. The thinking was, get people excited about the movie, they'll be excited about the pinball too.
Makes sense, right? Pinking on that built-in audience. You love the movie, you want to play the pinball, it's an experience, Like stepping into that world, but in a different way.
Totally. So 1993 rolls around, and bam, we get the Last Action Hero movie and pinball machine, both at the same time. Now, just so everyone's on the same page, when we say meta-action movie, think of it like this. The movie knows it's a movie. You know what I mean? It makes fun of all the action movie tropes, the cliches, all that stuff. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's playing this totally over-the-top action hero, Jack Slater. And the whole thing is about this kid who gets magically sucked into Slater's world, which is totally fictional.
It's playing with the audience, winking at them. Like, we know this is ridiculous, you know it's ridiculous, let's have fun with it. That's the meta part.
Exactly. So you've got this super over-the-top movie, and then you've got this pinball machine trying to do the same thing, but in a totally different way. It's interactive, But here's the funny thing. The movie, it kind of bombed. But the pinball machine, people loved it. Go figure.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? The movie flops, but the pinball becomes a cult classic. It says something about the design, the gameplay. Maybe people didn't even need to love the movie to love the machine.
So what made this machine so special? Well, first of all, the artwork. It's like pure 90s action movie poster right in your face. You've got Jack Slater front and center, explosions everywhere, bright colors, the whole 9 yards. It's like a time capsule.
It grabs you, Visually, it screams action movie, but it's also got that pinball flair. It's loud, energetic, in your face, just like the movie.
And it's not just about looks. The design, the way it plays, it's got all these ramps and loops, so the ball is flying all over the place, super fast-paced, keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, that's crucial in pinball. Flow, speed, you gotta keep that ball moving. And the feeling, right? You're in control, even though it's chaos. That's what those ramps and loops do, pure action.
But the real star of the show, the thing that makes this machine so unique, is the crane. And I'm not talking about some little plastic decoration. This thing is mechanical. It picks up the ball and launches it across the playfield.
It's insane, right? Data East went all out with that one. It's interactive, it's physical, it's totally unexpected, and it makes the game so much more exciting. You never know what's going to happen next.
And they didn't forget about the movie either. You've got bumpers themed after stuff from the movie, and then there's explosive mode. Basically, when you hit certain missions, the flippers start vibrating. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, that's wild. They really wanted to immerse you in the theme, Like you're right there in the action. It's those little details that make a difference. Makes the whole thing feel really cohesive.
So how does it actually play? Well, it's challenging, that's for sure. At OnlyJZS, he said it's not an easy machine. And it's got all these game modes based on the movie.
That's the cool part. It's not just generic pinball stuff. It's tied to the movie, the characters, the story. It makes it way more engaging. You're not just playing pinball, you're reliving the movie in a way.
Exactly. You've got Helicoptero and Peligro, where you got to save people from a helicopter crash. Then there's Moto Multiball, where you get like a ton of balls in play at the same time. And of course, there's the Jackpot Explosivo, which, well, it's pretty explosive. Got to be super precise to get that one.
Lots of variety, lots of depth. Keeps you coming back for more. And the fact that it's tied to the movie, that makes it even more special.
And the sound, oh man, the sound. It's pure Arnold. You've got his voice, all the classic lines, plus all the explosions and sound effects you can imagine. It's like being in an action movie, but you're playing pinball.
Yeah, sound is so important in pinball. It sets the mood, the atmosphere. And when you've got Arnold Schwarzenegger's voice coming out of the machine, that's pretty hard to beat. Instantly recognizable, adds so much to the experience.
Okay, let's talk about the collector's side of things. This machine, it's pretty rare. They only made about 5,500 of them, which is, not a lot. And that's why it's so valuable today.
Oh yeah, rarity equals value, especially in the collector's market. And when you've got something with that 90s nostalgia factor, the price just goes up and up.
And get this, they actually wanted to put a little LCD screen in the machine so it could show clips from the movie while you're playing. Can you imagine?
That's so cool. It's like they were ahead of their time. But yeah, I get it. Adding a screen like that would have been expensive back then, probably why they scrapped it.
And here's a fun little fact. The first versions of the machine, the prototypes, they had a glitch. You could get infinite multiball. Talk about a cheat code, right? Luckily, they fixed it before they released it to the public.
Yeah, you gotta love those little behind-the-scenes stories. Shows you how much work goes into making these machines. It's not just slapping some parts together. It's a whole process.
So where does the Last Action Hero pinball machine stand today? Well, as Ed only Jay-Z put it, it's a collector's dream. If you find one in good condition, you're looking at over $5,000 easy.
It's a cult classic, no doubt about it. It's got the 90s nostalgia, the unique design, the rarity factor, the Arnold Schwarzenegger sound bites. What's not to love? Even if the movie wasn't a hit, the pinball machine, it found its own audience.
It really did. It's a testament to how a good pinball machine can, stand on its own,
Right.
It doesn't always need a blockbuster movie to be successful. Sometimes the game is enough. And in this case, the game is really something special.
It's a reminder that sometimes those less than successful things can surprise you. Maybe the movie wasn't a hit, but the pinball machine, it captured something, and it resonated with people in a way that the movie just didn't. That's pretty cool.
Absolutely. So to wrap things up, the Last Action Hero Pinball Machine, it's a perfect example of what happens when 90s action movies meet the world of pinball. The movie might be a bit forgotten, but the pinball machine, it's still going strong. It's got the art, the crane, the sound, the gameplay. It's a whole experience.
And it shows you, how pinball can sometimes go beyond the movie. It becomes its own thing, something that people love and cherish. And that's worth celebrating.
For sure. So if you ever find yourself in an arcade or maybe a vintage game convention and you see a Last Action Hero pinball machine, do yourself a favor and give it a shot. It's a piece of history, a piece of art, and a whole lot of fun.
And hey, while you're at it, think about this. What other movies, maybe movies that weren't huge hits, have merchandise that really took off? What makes those things so special? It's a fun little thought experiment.
It is. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Yeah.
Until next time, keep on flipping.
You got it. See ya.